By the third night, the house felt different. The air had grown colder, so cold that her breath misted in the dim light. Her flashlight, a sturdy companion until now, flickered erratically, then died with a final, pathetic blink. She'd just put new batteries in that morning. A small, icy seed of dread planted itself in her stomach. She sat by the warm, sputtering glow of her oil lantern, hunched over her journal, trying to bring order to the chaos swirling in her mind. She clicked on her small tape recorder, the one she used to capture fleeting thoughts. The soft whir of the tape was a comforting, mechanical sound in the oppressive silence. "I believe the legends of the Blackwell disappearance may have a basis in a domestic tragedy," she said, her voice a low murmur. She traced the frayed edge of an old rug with her boot. "There are signs of violence. Deep scratches on the interior of the doors, particularly the one leading to the nursery. And there are scorch marks on the floorboards just outside it, as if something was set ablaze in a hurry. I suspect—" She stopped. Her words hung in the frigid air. There was a sound behind her, a faint dragging noise, the whisper of fabric being pulled across the rough, splintered floorboards. It was slow, deliberate, and undeniably close. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. She held her breath, straining to hear, praying it was just the house settling, a draft, anything but what she feared. The sound came again, closer this time, a soft, relentless shushing that scraped at her nerves. Every instinct screamed at her to run, to not look back, but she couldn't. She was frozen, a statue of terror. With a monumental effort that felt like lifting a mountain, she turned her head slowly, creaking like the old house itself, and there she was. At the far end of the long, dark hall, shrouded in shadows just beyond the lantern's reach, stood the figure from the portrait, Eliza Blackwell. Her pristine white dress from the painting was now a dingy, spectral gray, caked with decades of dust and decay. Her face, once rendered with such soft, delicate strokes, was a pale, emotionless mask. But her eyes were dark, glistening voids that seemed to swallow the light, fixed directly on Eleanor. The tape recorder slipped from her numb fingers, clattering onto the floor with a sharp plastic crack that shattered the silence. Her breath caught in her throat, a choked, desperate gasp for air that wouldn't come. Panic, cold and sharp, pierced through her paralysis. This wasn't a trick of the light. This wasn't her imagination running wild. This was real. The figure's head tilted, a slow, unnatural movement, like a marionette's head on a weak, tangled string. The gesture was jerky, wrong, a grotesque parody of human curiosity. A dry, rasping sound escaped its lips, and when Eliza Blackwell spoke, her voice was like water dripping through stone in a deep, forgotten cave, hollow, ancient, and filled with a chilling echo of sorrow. "He wouldn't let us leave." The words, barely a whisper, seemed to seep into the very walls, vibrating with a century of pain. Eleanor stumbled back, her foot catching on the rug, sending her sprawling. The lantern wobbled, its flame flickering wildly, casting dancing, distorted shadows across the room. For a single, terrifying heartbeat, the woman was gone. In her place, a monstrous shadow crawled up the wall, stretching long and impossibly thin, its spindly limbs reaching for the ceiling like a spider unfurling from its lair. Then, just as quickly, the shadow receded, and Eliza was there again, a step closer than before. That broke the spell. Pure, unadulterated terror propelled Eleanor to her feet. She ran, down the corridor, away from those vacant eyes, away from that whispering voice. Her own footsteps echoed too loud in the cavernous hall, a frantic, desperate drumming. But they weren't alone. Another set of footsteps joined hers, a soft, dragging shuffle that was always right behind her, never getting closer, never falling back. It was the sound of a patient, inevitable pursuit. She didn't dare look back. She clattered down the grand, sweeping staircase, her hand sliding on the dusty banister, nearly losing her balance on the turn. The air grew thicker, heavier, pressing in on her like a physical weight. Whispers swirled around her, faint and overlapping, the ghosts of forgotten conversations. The words were indistinct, but the feeling was clear: despair, anger, and a bone-deep sadness. When she finally reached the massive front door, her lungs burning and her legs shaking, she fumbled for the heavy iron latch. She threw her shoulder against the solid oak, expecting it to swing open to the blessed relief of the stormy night outside. It wouldn't budge. She pushed again, grunting with effort, her palms flat against the cold, unyielding wood. It was as if it had been sealed shut with iron. Panic gave way to a frantic, primal fear. She rattled the handle, twisted the lock, beat her fists against the door until her knuckles were raw. Nothing. It was sealed, trapped. A soft, metallic scraping sound made her freeze. Slowly, she lowered her gaze. The angel-faced door knocker, the one she had noted in her journal for its cherubic and peaceful expression, was turning. Its small brass head swiveled on its hinge, its painted eyes seeming to focus directly on her. Its serene smile twisted into something knowing, something sinister. And then, from the cold, dead metal, a voice whispered, a child's voice, clear as a bell in the suffocating silence. "Stay." A scream tore from Eleanor's throat, raw and ragged. She scrambled back from the door, her eyes wide with horror, a captive audience in a play written by the damned. The house was awake, and it didn't want her to leave. It wanted her to join its collection of sorrowful, silent ghosts. The dragging footsteps from the top of the stairs began their slow, patient descent. There was nowhere left to run. Thank you for listening. If this story sent a shiver down your spine, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.